jiggy with it is idol worship to the goddess Inanna, Ishtar. Ananana. When he's talking about Inanna, look at this.
What? You want to...
Right at the end of the first chorus, he brings in the ancient Egyptian wardrobe. He's getting jiggy with it. Think about it. What does getting jiggy with it mean? Sex? What is Ishtar? The mother of harlots? Was she a prostitute? One of the names for this Statue of Liberty was Inanna, Ishtar. Was the Statue of Liberty in this video? It was. 6 dancers in red. He is the 7th in white. The 7 rays on the crown. The 7 is the representation of the Helios god, Sol, S-O-L, Statue of Liberty, and also the mother of harlots here, the whore of Babylon, Ishtar, Inanna.
This is what the fixation with the number 7 is. There are 3 7s right here. Rewind it, decipher it, remember it. Sept, as in September, means 7 in Latin. The way we abbreviate it, the name Tupac, spelled T-U-P-A-C in numerology, breaks down to a 7. And this is the reason why we find the quad studio shooting on 7th Avenue, guys. Pay attention.
So I slowed down this video and zoomed in. Tell me how many umbrellas you see. Because I see 7. Those aren't umbrellas, they're tarps covering something. Yeah, this is fishy. It's probably covering up some 5G towers. That's why the number...
Nothing is a coincidence, y'all. Ever.
If you are getting prepared for any type of disaster, because that's what's happening in the month of September, so we're getting you ready.
Go ahead. Tell yourself it's just a number.
The future can be scary. 9 hours and 23 minutes. You'll be mine.
The miracle of deliverance. By 9:23, the water of life shall proceed forth from the throne of the Lamb.
Your father?
The Prince of Darkness!
Let the new prince be decided on Saturday. First South Park, then the world.
Signing off 9/23.
September 23rd?
September 23rd.
This is Agent Dunham. I need immediate evac. 923 Church Street.
Captain's log, stardate 23.9, rounded off to the nearest decimal point. We've traveled back in time to save an ancient species from total annihilation.
She called us, Miss. Thursday morning, 9:23.
September 23rd.
Hey, now that I've got your attention, look what these celebrities are painting a picture of. California is destroyed in the year 2095 right here. Destroyed, y'all. Now listen to what this man's about to tell you about September 23rd, that exact date.
Looked like what this says right here. And you know what they found? The only time they could find this in history was on September 23rd, 2017. And so it was a big deal. A lot of people were talking about it. Did you ever hear about this? Some have, some haven't. Well, here is in the stars a constellation called Virgo. Virgo is the constellation. It's kind of like Virgin. And if you ever look, this is what the constellations look like. That's supposed to be a woman. That doesn't look like a woman. So they always paint a little picture of a woman over the star. But these are the constellations. And on September 23rd, 2017, the planet Jupiter had been moving and doing this as it was going through. Looks like it went into her womb. Looked like a woman giving birth. And it did that in 9 months, just like a woman having a baby. Now, that's odd. What does it say over there? Well, that sounds what it says. She being with child, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Now it says, there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, there's no 12 stars above her usually. Usually there's the constellation Leo, which is only 8 stars. But it just so happened on that day, the planet Venus, the planet Mars, and the planet Mercury were right there, making 12. And at a certain time, at a certain hour, at a certain minute, the sun went right over here on her head, and the moon was right down here at her feet. And if you were in, guess where? Jerusalem, and you looked up at that time, you would have seen this exact same thing that it says in Revelation chapter 12. Now, is that an accident? So a lot of people are going, man, it's the rapture, it's the rapture. And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But I kept thinking, but signs are for the Jews. So did anything happen for the Jews on that date? September 23rd, 2017. No, not a thing that we know of. But you know what did happen? December 6th, 2017, Trump declared Jerusalem as the capital, and the American embassy moved over there on May 14th, which was the day they were founded as a nation, May 14th, 1948. Wow. Now, is that a miracle? I think so. So I think God is showing us signs are for the Jews, and He put that up. So now the book of Revelation starts to come alive. Whoa. Are we in the time and the season now? Is God about ready to go back to dealing with the Jews? I'm like, yeah, boy, I think so. I think so. Because God always has things on set appointed times. So I'm looking at that, I'm going, whoo, this is pretty cool. Now, what happened? Nothing. Well, so we're waiting, and remember the shmitas, right? That every 7 years. So some people theorize, and so this is kind of a theory, but still you got to wonder that maybe God did that here in this shmita, or this shmita, that in that shmita is going to be the tribulation. So it's like He's saying, in this 7 years, I'm warning you of the next 7 years. So I started thinking about that. I started thinking, wow, is there like anything in the Bible about a good 7 years first and then the last bad 7 years? And I started going, no, there's probably not anything. Oh yeah. Do you remember the story of Joseph? I'm reading through Genesis, and it says Joseph was 17 years old when he was sold into slavery. 2017 is when that sign came. I was like, nah, no coincidence here, right? And so 2017, that happens. And I thought, I wonder, you remember what happened to Joseph? How he was in jail, and then the Pharaoh and said, I had this dream that there was these 7 fat cows and the 7 thin cows. And God gave Joseph that interpretation of there'll be 7 good years and then 7 bad years. And so this is just a personal thought of mine, and I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the rapture's tomorrow, right? But what if God was telling the Jews through that sign, hey, here's your 7 good years, and you better be ready because judgment's coming, and you're going to have your 7 bad ones. So are you prepared? Are you stocked up? Well, you start doing the math. What's 2017 plus 7? Well, 7 and 7 is 4. So 2024. Could 2024 be the start of the tribulation? If so, then that means this year or next year might be the rapture.
Time to talk about the Euphrates River, because this brings, again, the start of this nuclear war that's going to take place. Yeah. Revelation 16:12 says, Then the 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, so that the way of kings of the east might be prepared. The Euphrates River has completely
You can check out videos on it all over YouTube.
It is dried up. This goes with Revelations 9:14, which says, Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour day month and year were released to kill a third of mankind from this location.
Right. That river is drying
It
up
is dried
right now.
Yeah, to kill a third of mankind. I looked up the population right now. It's 7 billion people in 2023. So a third of that would be 2 billion people.
Yeah. And it says, you know, a third. It means a third.
A third, for sure. Revelations 18, 8 through 10. Her plagues will come in one day. Death and mourning and famine. She will be utterly burned with fire. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning. That city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. So think about that, 1 hour.
How could that take place in 1 hour? You go to nuclear. It literally describes what happens in nuclear
The
war.
end of the age of Pisces, 2,160 years from the inauguration of the age of Pisces, from the birth of Christ, who was born sometime around 4 BC. So you calculate from the birth of Christ 2,160 years, we're in the year 2022. So you add on the 4 BC, because Jesus wasn't born on 1 AD, he was born probably around 4 to 5 BC, so that puts us around really 2026 or thereabouts. So 2026, 25 years since the birth of Christ, and an age has 2,160 years. We're getting pretty close, but it's not tomorrow, right? People get mad at me for saying that, but it's not tomorrow. It's at the end of the age of Pisces, the transition into the age of Aquarius. So, and what's really fascinating is that you have Yuval Noah Harari out there, the famous proponent of transhumanism, who's like the spokesperson for the global elite as it pertains to transhumanism. And Harari is out there saying that we are the last generation of Homo sapiens. He says 100 to 200 years from now, the Earth will be populated by post-human species. Is it coincidental that Harari's projections correspond to the end of the age?
In numerology, there's no zero. It's 1 through 9. So 250th anniversary, just look at it like it says 25 and remember that they killed off Tupac, the character, when he was 25 because it makes a 7. Remember that. It was made crystal clear in this video with Will Smith that the Whore of Babylon is the United States. And what does the Bible say is the plan? And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink the wine of the wrath of her fornication. This place where all this Hollywood and all this rated R and all this very OnlyFans and all this stuff happens at, in the name of freedom over here. Hey, I've never come out and said it straight up, but the reason they're all saying September 23rd in that one video is because these are the fallen angels. The day after Steve Jobs died was 30 years, 303 days after the death of John Lennon, who was exactly 30 years, 33 weeks old when he recorded Imagine. Adding to the mystery is that the Beatles record company was called Apple Corps, founded 4 years before Steve Jobs founded Apple Inc. You're looking at a fallen angel, y'all. And I'm dead serious. People want to get any interpretation besides that these are fallen angels. But you are already told, it was already written that they were cast down here, that they walk amongst us. This is the explanation for anyone that's a believer. And we literally call them stars. Stars, y'all. Falling stars. The fallen angels. There's 22 of them. And they're going to surround the mount of God. Paramount. Paranormal.
Babylon, beware, coming for the Pharaoh's kids. Retaliation, making legends off the shit we did. Game when the plot helped me survive several centuries, locked me in the cage.
Hey, everything is different than what we think. Notice how they're all making an X, in particular, an X across their chest.
In the year 2017, there was a solar eclipse that went part of the United States. About that time, myself and others began warning people that there was trouble coming to the United States and to the world. In fact, I took it a step further in one of my posts on Facebook, as you can see here, and the Lord spoke to me and told me that there was a terrible sickness that was going to arise, that was going to be known by its fever, and many people were going to get sick by it, right? We notated that, along, of course, with the Holy Spirit, because there was going to come another solar eclipse 7 years later to put another mark on the United States, which was going to ultimately make an X upon the U.S. If you're on a test, if you're in school, and you have an X marking out something, what does that convey to you? That's being X'd out, it's wrong, it failed the test. The very fact that the number 7 is the number of completion and a solar eclipse is marking an X upon the United States from heaven's perspective, that looks like that we failed a certain test. In the Bible, Jesus said, look for signs in the sun, moon, and in the stars. When you take a look in Genesis, God said that whenever he created the sun, the moon, and the stars, he made them for signs and seasons, for omens. That's exactly what this is. Do not be deceived. There's also some other pictures displaying on the left. I'll do another video on that. If you like content like this,
2017 is when that dude was talking about all that stuff in the stars happened on September 23rd.
Coming for the Pharaoh schemes. Babylon beware. 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 Coming for the Pharaoh schemes.
Known that everything you own in this life, the next life is all gone.
Hey, if these ain't fallen angels, how else do they know all this? Ask yourself that dead serious question. How else would they know all this? He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him.